All right, everybody. You know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Everybody, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for bang. There we go. Mike is back on, and we appreciate those of you who decided to join us here today. It's been a wild day today. We've had all kinds of situations with our internet going crazy, all kind of stuff going on, but that's okay. We thank God for those of you who are joining in with us today. Matter of fact, let us go to social media right now. We're going to Facebook, and Bobby D. Blassingame said, yes, one of Atlanta's greatest sports week to encounter history in the making. That's absolutely right. And we're going to be talking about those history makers, the Atlanta Hawks. They have shook up the world. Atlanta Hawks doing big things. And this guy right here, they call him Red Velvet. Now, that 2021 NBA MVP. He's not necessarily that, but at the end of the day, he was certainly the Hawks MVP for Game 7 as Kevin Huerter cranked up 27 points, dished out 7 assists, and had 3 rebounds, if I have those stats correct. I know for a fact he had 27 points to lead all scorers, and he was a bad man. Everybody calling him by his nickname, Silky Smooth Red Velvet. And certainly he was as smooth as a red velvet piece of cake there for the Atlanta Hawks. However, he was a piece of cake that was Philadelphia choked on going down as they lost Game 7. We're going to talk about that. Also, other great things going on in the way of sports. Matter of fact, some groundbreaking things happening in the way of sports. And we're going to look forward to talking about each and every one of them along with you. And speaking of you, we want to thank you who are watching this via the archive on Facebook or on demand on YouTube or on the replay on Periscope or on Twitter TV. Mad shout out and thank you very much for again joining us on the broadcast. So again, we thank you so much and we appreciate you for, like I said again, being with us on the show. Well, speaking of being with us on the show, if I come on here, I have to bring on one of the most beautiful women on a sports talk radio or TV. Miss Latricia Dolman, a.k.a. The Queen, is in the building.
Hello, how are you?
What's going on?
Oh, my goodness, so much.
Yeah, it's been off the chain, really crazy stuff going on. Just news breaking everywhere. Of course, the big news here in Atlanta is obviously the Hawks going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 5 years. Last time they went, ironically, the head coach is now the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Coach Budenholzer. So we are very, very interesting. The storyline that's going to be going on with that. And I know you're happy, Trey. I saw you had the happy fingers up. I know you.
That's right. Go Hawks. I'm really excited because, I really love this team and the dynamics of this team. Oh, my goodness. They had me a little worried, but I'm happy that they went ahead and pulled off the W.
Oh, no doubt. So they have me a lot worried. I will tell you right now, I was very tense as we got down there to those final moments. They were behind for I thought I was concerned that they might blow the game, to be honest with you, because they seemed like they had a nice little space, 5 to 7 point lead. Looked like everything was on and popping, and all of a sudden it just kind of went to the left. And Philadelphia, which you expect them to come back, but it just was a situation where they were in danger. That's the bottom line. They were in danger of blowing that game. But big shots by Trey down the stretch, big shots and big play by to me, the unheralded guy, John Collins, your boy, making some big shots down late, big defensive rebounds down late. Oh, wait a minute. I got to get a full shot of this. She got the Collins jersey, baby. She done went out and spent some money and got herself a Collins jersey.
No, I told you. I bought this I got this in 2017.
And actually, that is the original draft jersey that they brought out at the draft day, because I was actually there for that when they did the signing and so forth. Got a chance to meet his mom, who was just a sensational lady. And just great stuff to see that. And I'm happy for him. You know what's funny about him? Now, to tell you about a guy's a real son. Check this out. You remember they won the game that clinched them going to the playoffs on Mother's Day weekend, and now they clinched going to the Eastern Conference Finals on Father's Day. That's a son right there.
Yes, the parents were very proud. It was nice to see Trey run up in the stands and take off his jersey and give it to his father that was in the crowd.
No doubt. Yep. And so, like I said, again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. But, our good friend Tyrone Poole won't be with us today. He has some other press engagements. But he did talk about a segment, like we're going to have like a real talk sports, like for real, talking about some breaking issues that are going on. So one of the things that kind of broke, I saw it this morning, two things actually big, one in college and one in professional sports. We have a young man who plays in the NFL who now is admitted, but he has revealed that he is gay. And he is the first full-time NFL player to actually admit publicly that he is gay. So I don't know, I guess, Tree, any thoughts or comments on that announcement today?
Yeah, I think that everybody should feel comfortable in their skin and being who they are. No one should hide who they are and what they feel and who they like. If you like men, then hey, you like men. That's your business. That's your life. Do you and be happy. So I'm happy that he felt comfortable to come out. And I think that we will start seeing other people coming out because, listen, we just all need to be happy. That happiness is the most important thing that any of us can have, happiness and health. And when you're hiding things and you're not truly being true to you, it causes stress on yourself and anxiety and just different things that you don't need. So I'm really happy that this announcement happened because we know there's other guys in the NFL who are the same way, right? So kudos to him and everybody, just be who you are.
Yeah, so I guess I got the I don't know what you want to call it, the old man take on it. I don't know if it's the it could be it. I'm not sure. Me personally, I think that I really don't need to know. I mean, I get everybody wants to be comfortable in their own skin, but for me, I'm like, hey, that's your business. I mean, if that's something that you're doing, then I mean, it's I don't need to know that, and I don't to some degree want to celebrate that. If that's what you're trying to do. That's it. That's just like guys saying, hey, I'm going on with multiple women. I'm having affairs. Okay, well, that's kind of your business. I don't need to know that. And I kind of don't want to know that. And to some degree, I don't want kids to know that. So I guess I kind of have a kind of an opposite take. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, hey, man, I'm kind of about through with everybody out and everything else. I'm like, hey, man, it's like, to me, it's TMI, too much information. I don't need to know it. I don't care about that. I'm not, again, you can do what you want to do. That's your business. I'm not trying to say, hey, look, you can't do this. I'm not trying to say I'm going to look at you funny if you do that. I know plenty of people who are homosexual, and they're nice people, but like, I'm kind of like, hey, that's your business. And I really don't need to hear it. Because I don't want a player coming out telling me, hey, man, I'm sleeping around all over the place. Great. That's for you, sir. If that's what makes you happy. you want to do that, that's fine. But I mean, I don't need to hear it. I really, to some degree, don't think our kids need to hear it either. But that's just me speaking. Speaking of that, guys, if you have a comment about that, you can hit us up here on social media. I'll be more than happy to read your comments. I'm sure many of you don't agree with that. I mean, I can only be myself. So that's kind of my take on it. If you want to go again, be a part of the show. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put the link up here right now so you guys can see it. Let me put the link up. So if you want to comment, I'm gonna pop it up for you in just a moment. I'll put it on social media. Okay, if you want to comment, we'll bring you in. I mean, you can, and you have an option. You can come in like on Zoom. You can do like just your avatar only. If you say I don't want to be seen, my hair not done, my head nappy, I'm ashy, or anything things you won't be on camera, it's okay. We're good. All right, but you can go ahead. There it is, right there. You can put it up. Let's see if I can hit the enter button. Bam! Come on up there. There you go. And there it is, right there. If you want to comment, just copy and paste that link. I will tell you this: if you're on social media, once you copy and paste the link and you come onto the show, you have to close out the social media page, else you're gonna get a wicked echo. Okay, so again, if you want to be a part of the show, there, just copy it. Same thing here. If you're on Periscope, Twitter TV, if you are on Twitch, come on in. We're good to go. You can comment and be a part of the link. All right, speaking of social media, let's go back out to social media. Bobby D. Blassingame says, she said, I'm still wondering of the status of playtime for Cam Reddish. An additional wing will be a major plus against Milwaukee bigs, knowing our size discrepancy. We'll talk about that in just a minute here. The other big thing that happened is, and Tree, I think that you must be happy about this, the athletes about to get paid. NCAA was shot down by the Supreme Court, and they said athletes now have the right to get paid off of their personal endorsements. How about that?
I love that. First of all, I must say kudos, right? Because my freshman year in college, I remember one of the papers that I had to write for class, and I wrote a paper on why college athletes should get paid. And so for college athletes to finally be able to get paid, I think is wonderful, because we know that many of these college athletes bring in millions and millions, billions of dollars to these programs. And yes, they do get an athletic scholarship, which is wonderful, but the coaches are paid, the school is paid, everybody gets paid except for the athletes, who are the ones working super hard and making it all possible. So the fact that the athletes can now get paid for their greatness, I think is a huge celebration for all college athletes everywhere.
No doubt, and long overdue. I mean, to me, long overdue. I told people initially, going back 10 or 15 years ago, when the whole thought about paying the athletes was kind of starting to be running around, even about 5 or 6 years ago, I kind of was on the fence. But what I really had to be honest about is, okay, this is all kind of make pretend, this whole idea about the amateur athlete, because reality is what you just said is absolutely true. How can you say the player is in fact the guy that's moving the train? He's the guy that's making the dunks. He's the guy that's winning the championships. You're going to pay the coach, and their top coaches are anywhere between $5 million a year and up. And you're going to play the player who got. And it, now, again, I hear people say, well, brother, you got to look at it like this, that if they're going to a top quality school in the SEC, ACC, Pac-10, if they had to go, that money for the for the cost of tuition, room and board could be as much as $70,000, $80,000 a year. Okay.
That's true.
Right. And I get all that. And I have no problem with that. But at the end of the day, the colleges, especially football and basketball, generate millions and tens of millions of dollars. Okay.
Billions. I thought it was billions, but I found out it's billions.
Billion. If you group all the Big Five conferences together, you're in the billion. Definitely NCAA has been making billions of dollars. And oh, by the way, they're tax exempt.
They are. They're a nonprofit organization, and most people don't realize that. Oh,
they're tax exempt. So how does that work? So at the end of the day, there's no doubt in my mind that this is something that is a blessing to all athletes. And if we really are very candid with ourselves, let me put the shades on now. Select athletes have been getting paid for some time on the table. I mean, the great Bobby Bowden, legendary coach, his own son was basically barred from coaching because he had a bag man. Where these guys literally would come to players with bags of cash. To this day, we're going back almost now 40 years. Eric Dixon, Hall of Fame running back that played in the NFL for years. First guy since OJ to rush for 2,000 yards. To this day, he will not discuss what went on when he was at Southern Methodist University.
I'm sure. I wouldn't either. I know players who got paid. You'll never hear me saying anything because that's neither here nor there. It didn't happen at my university, but I know it happened at other schools. I mean, that's just what happens sometimes. But that was also before, the big scandals came out. And so I'm sure they're finding other ways to pay players. And I'm sure some players are still getting paid.
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
it happens in high schools too. So.
Ooh. That's true because look, at the end of the day, we just had the head coach from Arizona get fired. And some of his people now being brought up on charges. They said because for years they were involved in paying players. I mean, certainly we had controversy here. Cam and his dad denied it, but there was all kind of rumors that Auburn paid him. Mississippi State would offer him a check to come over there. And why? Okay, think about this. Why would anybody offer an athlete $25, $50, $100, $150,000 unless they were going to be making a whole lot more than that? So
well, they are.
Yeah.
So how much they charge for the game tickets, how much they charge for paraphernalia, how much they charge for parking, concessions. I mean, the schools are making a ton of money and they get bonuses anytime you go to a bowl game, and then you get another bonus if you win a bowl game. So, I mean, the schools are making a lot of money. Let's be real. They're making big pay. So the amount that they're paying the players on the side is pretty much nothing compared to what they're bringing in.
You already know it's ridiculous. And like you said, it's long overdue. Now, the other problem they're going to run into, Tree, is the fact that some states are actually expanding upon that ruling. Matter of fact, the state of Georgia ruled even before the Supreme Court that they were not going to allow players to get paid off of any kind of endorsement. So, if it's a sneaker deal, anything, the player can get a check, and he will not be in any problem if he goes to the University of Georgia, baby. So clearly long overdue. We appreciate the NCAA for doing it. Now, I will say this much. They need to have a national rule lest you have the same thing. You have SEC schools and other big schools being able to offer more incentives and, unfairly to other schools. So I do think that if everybody's going to do what everybody should do in the state of Georgia, California, I think it was like 7 states, they all should do that. There shouldn't be something where one state, oh man, I can get money off of my endorsement contract. Another state, I can't. Oh, it's a bunch of nonsense. There should be a flat rule. If you like, for example, at Allen Vigil, we should be able to offer any college athlete a vehicle just like we do a pro athlete. Shouldn't be no restrictions. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if there are states who have restrictions, then those states or their teams are just going to suffer because if I'm a college athlete in this new day, and I know that I can go to a school in Georgia and I can get endorsement deals, and then there's a school in Mississippi that says that I can't, then obviously I'm not going to the school in the state of Mississippi. I'm going to a school in the state of Georgia. So, it's just like for me, when I was getting recruited, I knew I wasn't going to an HBCU, and I knew I wasn't going to a school that wasn't Division I. So all of those schools I didn't even look at. So I just narrowed it down to the Division I schools. And so people who want to get endorsement deals, they're just going to narrow it down to the schools and the states that are offering what they want. So that's just another thing that's going to hurt the states who don't offer it.
Well, competition is rough. But it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Like, so when the bagmen were out, that's the same thing was going on. So I guess we're going to see it now at a different level. Everybody, we appreciate all those of you who are locked in here. Again, big shout out to those of you, sir, you, ma'am, that are watching here on the replay or on the archive. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. As we broadcast on every particular portal we can, we're going to take a little break now. But big shout out to Nathan Lewis on Facebook, and big shout out to everyone who has been with us. All right, stay tuned for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back.
Nothing better than the sound of Diesel in the morning. And what better place to get high horsepower diesel than the all-new 2020 Ford F-250, now with 475 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. You know where to get it? From me, the minister, Jonathan Simmons at Allen Vigil Ford Commercial Sales. Because you know why? I'm the commercial truck guy in the shirt and tie.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, we're back here listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. Hopefully my mic is behaving itself now. It's been kind of acting a little snarky, so hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and next to me, my co-host, the lovely, my mic done fell out. Okay, mute the mic.
Hello. All righty.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
Hello. Guess we're back from break. Are you still having mic issues or are you good?
All right, let's check it out.
Okay. Yes, you're back.
Praise the Lord, we're back here. Big shout out to DVA Mechanics who are watching us on Twitch. So thank God for him, and we hope to get more listeners as we continue to grow here, broadcasting on Twitch, which is owned by Amazon. So we thank God for that. And also, we want to give a shout out to those of you watching live on Roku channel, either on the C Room Sports Entertainment Network or the Phoenix Entertainment Group Network. We appreciate all those of you who are joining us here on the live broadcast. And again, we always want to point out big shout out and thanks to those of you watching the replay and on demand on the various portals. So yeah, I mean, it's been just a big weekend. But of course, the biggest happening was right here in the ATL as our Atlanta Hawks have only for the second time in the modern era advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. Who would have thunk it? I didn't think this year. I thought that this was probably about a year away. But yeah, it's incredible watching these guys do what they do. It has been really must-see TV, and they really have done it with still two key components missing. Let's go back to Bobby on Facebook. She said earlier, she brought this point out, the fact that, hey, we still don't have Cam Reddish. We still don't have DeAndre Hunter. There is some talk that Cam Reddish may be activated for this Eastern Conference Final. I'm thinking, hey, man, if the guy's not ready to go, don't put him back out there because he did that with DeAndre Hunter, and now you're basically out for the season.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to bring players back before they're ready. It will just cause more damage. And we do need some sharp shooters, which we have. But you definitely want players healthy and ready to come back before they come back.
Now, speaking of that, have you ever had a situation where you have felt, I'll phrase this properly, where you felt that you needed to, or people pushed you into coming back after an injury, maybe sooner than you wanted?
You know, I will say that throughout my career, I was very blessed. So I haven't had any major injuries. In high school, I just had a couple of knee injuries, and it wasn't anything major, you know, just a little rest here and there. And then in college, the only injuries that I had was, as a middle blocker, when I would go up to block and then someone would land before me, the middle on the other side, I would land on their foot if they came on my side of the net and twist my ankle. And so with that, no, they never pushed me to come back before I was ready, because typically with the ankle injuries, you have to rest that. You can't, especially being a middle where you're so mobile and you're moving. And so I wasn't out long with those injuries. So no, I've never had anyone push me to come back, just because the Lord has truly blessed me to not have any serious injuries while I was playing.
Well, yeah, that's big stuff. I mean, because it is something where we always wonder, hey, man, is it going to be worse me coming out here? So glad, fortunately for you, that you haven't had many injuries. So that's big stuff. Well, I'm going to do this, guys. I'm going to go back to a clip that we had before. Hopefully you guys can hear this. It's actually Trae Young talking about how him and some of the other young Hawks felt as they prepared to go into the playoffs for the first time. Let's see if we can get this rolling on the screen and audibly for those of you who are listening.
And as a fan of this game, looking at it from afar, you don't necessarily get to see those years of those teams that are going through rebuilding stages, and you don't know the behind the scenes of when you lose, and the emotion behind losing, and not getting to experience the best part in the postseason. It's definitely tough, and so for me, just knowing how hard it is to get to this position and having to really literally build our team to get to this position, it makes it that much more gratifying that we're here, but not satisfied for sure though.
What would you say was the toughest part over these past two seasons, just not being involved in the playoffs?
I don't know. For me, just watching, I feel like I just haven't got the recognition, and some guys on our team, we just haven't got the recognition that we deserve, but it comes with winning. And I know that, and I've known that since the beginning. And I think that's the most frustrating part, is when you don't get the recognition you feel like you deserve. But it's, we're here now.
We here now. That's what he said.
That's it. So that was Trae Young talking about, kind of how they felt beforehand, the fact that in many cases they were kind of being dissed by the folks in the national media. So they are there, and they are right smack in the middle of it. And again, the guy that was the big gun, surprisingly, was this guy right here, Kevin Huerter, guy they call Red Velvet. This guy put on a show, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, had a couple of steals, and to me defended Steph Curry's brother Seth very, very well in this postseason. So again, big shout out to the guy they call Red Velvet. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen our social media. I'm sure it's going to go viral. Somebody put together a montage of him with the guy that, man, was back in the 80s, man, Never Gonna Give You Up. And, because he got the red hair. This thing is hilarious. Because they just spliced it in with him taking jumpers and doing different things. So, yeah, that's something you'll see on social media. As a big shout out to Kevin Huerter, the guy they call Red Velvet. And, again, that's, I think, been the real key with this team, is the fact that anyone on this team can have a big night like that.
Oh, yeah, he definitely showed up big time for the Hawks. Thankfully, he did, because had he not, I think it definitely would have been a difference in the win or the loss. So I'm so happy that he did, because a lot of our shots just were not falling, and we needed those shots to go, and he was the big pick-me-up, I believe.
Yeah, it's one of the things I was screaming at the TV, and Mr. Ray Young, if you happen to be listening to this, so please don't get mad. But I was really kind of mad, because I felt that at several points during the game that Trae should have drifted to the way he was back in Game 5 to be more facilitator, because for whatever reason, his shot was off. And all I had was these terrible visions of 25 years ago, me watching the NBA Finals. I'm right outside the New York area. John Starks, who used to his kids used to be babysitted by one of my friends. So we were like, go Knicks. They're up 3-2 in a closeout game. And John Starks in Game 7, I think it was, shot like 2 for 24. And at one point, Trey was 1 for 16. I was like, please, man, stop shooting the ball.
You can't do that. That's not basketball. Like when you're not making a shot, you have to keep shooting. That's what any coach will tell you. Keep shooting the ball, especially for somebody like Trey. Now, it's different if the Hawks sign me to a contract for a 10-day contract, and then I'm 1 for 16. The coach is definitely going to say, Trey, stop shooting. We don't want you shooting anymore. Pass the ball. Just grab rebounds and just shoot layups when you get a rebound. That's it. Don't shoot any other shots. But for somebody like Trey Young, who we know can make the shot, they're going to tell him, hey, just keep shooting, just keep shooting. That's what you want great shooters to do, because you're hoping that during that game, they will eventually find their shot. And once they find their shot, then their shot will be on. And we see he did make some key shots at the end. So had he stopped shooting, again, it could have been a difference in the win or the loss.
Wow. Well, I guess what I meant by stop shooting, I felt that there were times where the Hawks' pace of play got a little slow, because it seemed like they were no longer moving the ball around. It seemed like they not just Trey, but even some of the other guards, they were just dribbling, and then it would be like kind of a contested shot. And like I said, especially with Trey, several times, it just seemed like he kind of forced the play. And I know I'd asked him in after game 6, I asked him, hey, because the rest of the team wasn't shooting too well, did you take it upon yourself to shoot more? Because in that game, same thing. He had kind of an off shooting night. He was 13 for 30. But he said, no, I kind of take what the defense gives me. And he said, when I see the open lane, I just try to go. Of course, he was fouled repeatedly. But, I just think that going forward, in order for them to beat Milwaukee, they're going to have to get back to their style of play. We really saw in game 1 against Philadelphia, and we saw in the closeout game against the Knicks. They got to get that ball moving around that perimeter and get these guys with shots that are a little bit less contested.
Yeah, no, you're right. When they move the ball, you'll see that's when they make a lot of the 3-pointers that, like you said, they're not as contested as other shots. And I think that it is a big part. And also, if we can control the pace of the game and play at our pace, I think that will also be big for us. We can get some great steals and run quickly down the court. You'll see a lot of those experiences will turn into points. And so I think that will be huge if we can control the pace of the game.
No doubt. Yeah, I think that if we can, just like I said, get back to, just solid basketball the way they were playing, moving the ball around, looking for the open man. And the big thing is, too, and I'm going to say this again, I'm going to give your boy a shout out. They're going to have to find a way to get John Collins more touches early and often. I mean, they got to get this guy the ball. Yeah,
he's definitely a big part of the Hawks offense and just their team, period, not just their offense, but their defense. And, coach said the same thing. The team runs around Trey and John. That's the same thing that the coach said. So they're both very big keys to the Atlanta Hawks. And so you're right. We do have to give him the ball, give him more touches, and get him involved to where he makes those great, exciting dunks and those exciting plays. He makes exciting I'm sorry, while I was saying this, the picture came in my mind, which I'll say in a second, but he makes exciting blocks as well. And so then the picture came in my mind, which I'm sure you saw the shirt that he had on in the last post-game conference. And he had got a shirt made with him dunking on Embiid with his. Did you see that shirt?
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was cold-blooded there. I mean, that was a cold-blooded situation. I was like, "Dad, go on, man, you're gonna do it like that." But I mean, listen. At the end of the day, that is what they have to do. I mean, they have to play with that kind of energy. They have to be, fearless, and that's what they are, because that's how you win championship game. I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of the post game from Coach Nate after Game 6, where he was talking about some of the improvements that they would need to make on Game 7. So let's see if I can grab that. I like the old thing. Let's go to the videotape. Let's see if we can get that and get that rocking and rolling here. We're going to go ahead and see if we can pull it up and get Coach Nate to tell us what he thought after game number 6. So hopefully and prayerfully we can get that and pop that on the screen for you guys. Again, we appreciate all those of you who are listening to the broadcast via archive. Big shout out to you, man. Everybody on Facebook, everybody lets me share on their pages. We appreciate you. And again, we, of course, thank God for all those of you listening on the replay and via the archive. So again, big shout out to you here as we try to get the video from Coach Nate after game number 6. Hopefully we can do that, and you can kind of see and hear what his mindset was going into game number 7. Let's see if we can grab that right here. And I think this is it here. There we go. And let's scoot this along just a little bit so we can get Coach Nate. And hopefully you guys will hear the audio too. And we're almost there.
Let you guys know once Coach is on the way.
All right. I think we should be getting Coach in just a second here.
Going from that first half to that second half and the way you guys were able to come back, just what were the biggest differences you saw, and the energy level as well seemed to go up in that second half?
I thought our defense showed up, and we started to knock down some shots in the first quarter. We had a lot of open looks that the ball just didn't fall for us in that first quarter. I liked the tempo that we were playing at, but it just didn't fall. I thought defensively we were a little soft in that first half. But the third quarter, we came out, we established ourselves defensively, started to get stops, and was able to really get to our tempo and get some easy baskets, some open looks, and the shots started to fall for us.
How huge just was John in that second half as well? It seemed like he was given a lot of second effort plays out there.
He really did. I thought he, brought a lot of energy, was playing with urgency in that second half. We had 21 second chance points, and, the hustle game, the scrap game was one of the keys that we felt we had to win tonight to beat Philadelphia. And John, did a great job of getting us second and third opportunities. That was big, and the fact that we
Well, as you can see, I know our video kind of was not syncing as much with our audio, but you did hear Coach's comments talking about the fact that it was important for them to play with energy, important for them to move the ball around. The big thing, a big shout out again to John Collins.
Definitely. He's really playing great basketball and big part of the team. And again, I'm just waiting. I guess they're waiting until the season is over, but I'm just waiting to hear that, hey, he signed his contract. Just so you know, Atlanta Hawks, go ahead and sign his contract. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Well, you know who's chimed in? Our man Todd, a.k.a. affiliate man from back in the day. Now Todd on YouTube, he said the old Hawks coach, we about to face him. Seems like, seems like he's got an axe to grind. Yeah. Well, look, listen, at the end of the day, does he have an axe to grind? Sure he does, because people are saying the same thing about him that he said with the Hawks. He's a great regular season coach. When it comes to the playoff, he can't get his team to the next level. And now with Giannis being a 2-time MVP, it was even more distressing because now he had the horses. You got a guy that's the league's best player. They had the league's best record. They were the number 1 seed, I think it was 2 years ago, and they completely flopped in the playoffs. There's no question Coach Bud is going to have the Bucks ready to play, and with a point to prove about the fact that Atlanta let him go as well.
I think it's going to be a great matchup. I know a lot of people are picking the Bucks to win. We'll see. I think the Hawks can beat them. So we'll see.
Look, at the end of the day, the Hawks are not going to be a favorite against anybody they play once they got past the first round with the Knicks. Because let's face it, they're 5 seed. They have several key components that are injured, including DeAndre Hunter, obviously not going to play at all. Bogey is touch and go. He's been fighting injuries. Trey's got technically a roughed up shoulder. So you just don't know, what you're going to get out of this Hawk team. So there's no way, nobody in their right mind is going to pick them to beat the Bucks. But if y'all got some extra cash, you might want to go on one of those betting sites and put your money down on the Hawks.
So are you saying that I'm not in my right mind because I picked them?
Oh, no. Listen, I'm with you. I think normally I know how it is. We're supposed to kind of have the yin and yang on sports shows, and one person take the positive and one guy be the negative influence. I get all that stuff, but at the end of the day, for me, I think it's just what I said at the beginning. This Hawks team is just like 25 years ago when Shaq came to Orlando and they had Penny Hardaway and they had D3, all those guys. They had a shot. Nobody thought they could do it, and they had a slogan, why not us and why not now? And that's my feeling with the Hawks. They know why not. Right. Why not? This is because what they don't want to do, the Falcons did 5 years ago. They don't want to get kind of surprise everybody and then get to the Super Bowl and go.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm just saying. So they need to seize the moment right now. Let's go to Todd, affiliate man. He says, I'm feeling the Hawks will win it all. We're with you, man, because here's why.
I'm with you, Todd.
Let's just look at some of the reasons why it's going to happen. I'll put the shades on here for a second. So, number one, if you look at what's in front of them, the Milwaukee Bucks are not necessarily a team to fear. I mean, yes, we granted they would, I think, the number 3 seed in the East, but they're not a team that really is a team that you say, oh man, they're just going to hurt you at every position. They basically have a great player in Giannis. They have a decent kind of role player in Middleton, and of course Lopez is still a force to be reckoned with down low. But after that, I mean, who do they really have? And if you look in the West, I mean, no question, Devin Booker is playing out of his mind. CP3 will probably be back. DeAndre Ayton was a lottery pick, so they have a real strong nucleus. But still, at the end of the day, they weren't the number 1 seed in the West.
Well, that's what I was about to say. First of all, there's no team that's out there to be feared, right? None of them.
Just saying.
The 2 number 1 seeds are gone. And guess what? The Hawks are the ones who knocked out the number 1 seed. So they're not worried about the Milwaukee Bucks. They weren't the number 1 seed. And we all know that Philadelphia had an excellent team. We all know that Utah had an excellent team this season. Like, there's nothing that anyone can say about the way they played the entire season. So yes, now we're in the playoffs, and the playoffs are a whole different game. But again, we're the ones who knocked off the number 1 seed. Doesn't matter who we play going forward. We knocked off the number 1 seed. Yes, we're still going to have to fight, but it can be done. And I think they will do it as well.
Yeah, I just think
we can stay healthy, and we do have to make those shots. We do have to make our key shots and play well.
And again, let's see if I can got some keys here for a Hawks win as we get into the Eastern Conference Finals. I think I wrote some stuff down. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. Number 1, it's what I said earlier. My man Trey, he's got to learn how to pass more when he's not shooting well. I don't mean not to shoot, but I mean to do what he did in Game 5. Be a facilitator. Don't be afraid to give out 15, 18, 20 assists. Don't worry about it, because you got guys around you that have proven they can score. Number 2, get John Collins more touches, especially in good scoring position. Tree, you know, one of the big things about a big man is that you can't give him the ball below the waist. You got to get right. See, you said it right off the rip. You were like, woo, right. And just explain to people why it's difficult for a big man to get, especially when you're down the paint, to get a ball in that area which actually below your chest. Just explain to people what kind of bad things happen.
First of all, you'll see a lot of turnovers because we're tall, and so we need the ball up here. When we have to reach down and bend down to get the ball, then we're trying to grab it because it's not in our hands, and then we have to stand up. You know, it's just too much time. And again, that's where a lot of the other players is down low. So get us the ball up high where all we have to do is grab the ball, make our move, shoot, and score. But it is horrible, and I could not stand whenever players would pass me a low pass like I was a 5'6" guard instead of a 6'3" center / forward. Please get us the ball high.
Yeah, because, I mean, in essence, now you're basically, like you said, you now put the ball in the scrum. So all those other people that you're towering above, where if they threw it up chest high, they would have to foul you most likely to make a play. Now, all of a sudden, all those hands slapping away most likely will create a turnover. So, again, get John Collins the ball, more touches, and get him the ball in good scoring position. And number 3, pass more, dribble less. One of the things – sometimes less is more. I mean,
no, you're right. I think that's funny because I was when I read that, I was just thinking of the turnovers that we had when they were dribbling and defense took the ball away. So that's why I laughed when I saw that. But no, you're right.
Listen, even Trey, as good as a ball handler he was, in that Game 7, he had double the turnovers. I think almost triple the turnovers he had in Game 5, where he was very, very conscious of the ball. I mean, now we know that the previous Falcons coach used to talk all the time. It was about the ball. But Nate talked about that. He talked about ball security. Because when you don't turn the ball over, what do you eliminate? You eliminate fast breaks for the other team. You eliminate easy buckets, and guess what? You eliminate those dreaded 4 and 5 and 6 point swings where you could have maybe made a 3, but now it's turned over. The other guy comes down, hits a 3. So now you basically have lost. It's a 5-point flip over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing good's gonna happen out of that. Number 3, go with the hot hand on offense. They did some of that in Game 7. They found Red Velvet early and often, and they found Gallinari. Now, of course, Gallinari made some of his own shots, but that's what you're going to have to do. Whip that ball around, get the ball, who's ever hot. And I don't care. Listen, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Shooter. I don't care if it's John Collins. Feed the big dog. Let him keep shooting. And number 4.
Mm-hmm.
That was number 4. Okay, that was it. Those are my big 4. Again, pass more. You see, I got a big emphasis on pass, because I think if you move this ball around, I think, again, the Hawks become a dangerous team because there's really nobody that can't score from 1 to really 9 or 10.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sometimes when I see their passes, I'm like, oh, can we fake a pass, throw a pass, or look this way and then throw the pass? I mean, sometimes it's just like they're telling the world, "Hey, I'm about to throw it here," So sometimes with their passes, I get a little nervous. But yeah, definitely, ball movement is key for any team to be successful. So they definitely need to move the ball and make great passes and just be smart with their passes. I need to see smart passes.
That's the key. And when you keep the ball moving, you have a tendency to avoid what you talked about. See, when you get into problems is when you get trapped, because you saw against Philadelphia. Like you said, they got trapped. All of a sudden, you got a guy trying to throw a diagonal pass cross court over 2 people, 6'7", with these long wingspans. And what'd you get? Turnovers, ball being tipped, the ball hitting the guy in a weird spot. So, yeah, if you keep the ball moving, it's a lot more difficult for the defense to get a stop on you. So that's it, guys. That's our big 4. The Hawks do them. I think they can advance for the first time since the St. Louis Hawks back in the 50s to the NBA. No, seriously, the last time the Hawks had been to the NBA Finals was when they won, I think, back in 1959 when they were St. Louis Hawks.
I never knew the Hawks used to be the St. Louis Hawks.
Oh, yeah, Hawks. Yeah,
new every day.
And the Hawks were actually a very, very good team in the late 50s, in the early stages of the NBA. Yeah, they had a guy by the name, I think his name is Bob Pettit, number 9. He's actually he was one of the first banners hung up on the rafters, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, the Hawks were, I think, 1958 and 59. They were pretty. Before the Celtics went on their big run, it was the St. Louis Hawks you had to be scared about.
Okay.
So hopefully the Hawks can do this year, because here's what I think, Tree. I think that, in fact, if the Hawks could somehow even get to the finals this year, this is a team that really could be, I don't want to overuse the word dominant, but they could be a finals contender for the next 5 or 6 years.
I think so too. I'm hoping that we really can keep our team together. That's what I'm wondering and waiting to see once the season is over, because you can have this great team that plays well, but then you always get players. This player goes here, this player goes there, and it's just like, we have such a great unit. And that's why I hate when I hear players, there's always next year. Yeah, guess what? There is always next year, but when you're an athlete and you're out there playing, it's now. It is now. It's go hard or go home. And so every time that you step on that court, it is go home. And I was so nervous when we were playing here at home, because we had it. We really could have won the game.
Right.
I was just like, oh my goodness, like, we need to win this game tonight. We don't need to go to Philadelphia and finish it off. But that's what they did. And it was just like, listen, that's the one little hump that we have to get over. When we have close games like that, we really need to find some type of way to pull it out where it's not as difficult. Yes, it's great we won at 7, we won on the road, right? But it's better if you can do it in less time, because then you can save your energy, save your legs, and then you keep that momentum.
No doubt. And you really want to take advantage of home court advantage. I mean, now the Hawks are doing something that's really unprecedented. They have won a staggering 5 games on the road in the first 2 series, which is unprecedented, including taking 3 or 4 from the number 1 seed in the East. So, yeah, the Hawks are they're balling out. But I think if they could find a way to take advantage and win at home, that's it. Before we go to a break, we're going to go to social media. And it seems like your favorite fan has kind words.
Affiliate man. Thank you, Affiliate man, aka Todd. You are amazing too.
There you go. Well, on that note, we're going to take a break because, hey, the show's amazing, Tree's amazing, and you are amazing because you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show or watching the Real Talk Sports Show. But to continue watching and hear about what's happening in the NFL and the Falcons, got to keep it locked right here for more. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
You're muted.
There we go. There we go. So we're welcome back here to the Real Talk Sports Show. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and right next to me, one of the most beautiful women in all of sports talk, radio, and TV, the lovely Miss Tree Dolman, aka the Queen. And thank you for joining us. And we're gonna go to social media again here. My man here, Todd, is got another comment. He says, "You could coach the Hawks, I believe. You're bringing a passion tonight." He's talking about Tree. He's thinking you could coach the Hawks.
Oh, well, thank you. I love the compliment. I definitely don't think I could, just for the simple fact the men would not respect me, not in a sense of respect, but it's better when grown men are coached by men, I think.
All right. Well, that brings us to an interesting segue. So, as you know, or you may not know, in one of the coaches' openings, I want to say it's maybe I can't come. But anyway, one of the coaches' openings that talked about Boston and one of the other teams is actually considering the number one assistant to Greg Popovich, who is a female, and she there's a possibility that we might have the first female coach in NBA history. Now, again, my age and maybe being a little bit chauvinistic in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well. You got you have all of these former players, all of these men that could use a job. I'm not trying to say women can't use a job, but it's like you bypass all these guys to put this woman in the head coaching position. So I'm feeling a little some kind of way about that. But she's supposed to be a good coach. So
yeah, no, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good coaches, and I know a lot of my fellow women probably will disagree with me. I can only go with what I believe. Like, even for me, I stopped coaching boys basketball when they're around 6th grade, right? Because it's not that I can't continue to coach them. It's not that I don't know how to coach them. I can. And of course, I can still beat a lot of high schoolers on the basketball court. So it's not that, but it's just that when it comes to boys and especially men, once they reach a certain age, they just, I feel, need a coach that's a man, because we all know when you're coaching someone, it's better if you can say that you've gone through that experience. So if you've done this, and don't get me wrong, in the NBA, there are coaches that have not played in the NBA, right? So but with that sense, I can see, but I still just think that the players will respect a coach who is a man more than they would respect a female coach. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, but kudos to the woman who is applying for it, because that's her dream. So yeah, she should apply for the job and she should go for it. And if she gets hired, kudos to her. I think that would be phenomenal for her. I just know for me personally, it's not something that I would ever try to do, just because I think that men need to be coached by men when it comes to things like that.
Yep. So let's go ahead and take a look here. These are headlines from off of social media. It says sources on ESPN are saying that Chauncey Billups, Becky Hammon, who is the assistant coach and right-hand woman to Coach Popovich out of the San Antonio Spurs, and Mike D'Antoni have advanced to second interviews for the head coaching position with the Portland Trail Blazers. Also, let's look here. More headlines. Becky Hammon believed to be drawing strong interest from the Blazers governor. And also she had drawn some interest to replacing Brad Stevens in Boston. So Becky Hammon getting a lot of looks here by teams that have openings. Like I say again, me personally, I just think that with all of these guys that are out there that have played in the league, guys that I'm sure would be, suitable to do the job, I just think that they should get first shot because they've already invested their time and energy and their health in the league. So that's just me talking. I know some people say, "Oh, Minister, you got to open the doors." Well, you can open the doors a different way to me. Okay. So I know some of you don't get mad at me. Okay. So don't not return my phone calls.
You make a point, right? And in my opinion, with some people may not agree with me, experience is the best teacher. So for someone to come and coach me in volleyball and try to tell me what's going to work best for a certain situation or what's the best way to do this or do that, and you have never played the game a day in your life. And don't get me wrong, you could have played men's volleyball, right? Which that's
right.
Not a good example. But men's volleyball and women's volleyball, different ways of playing. But my point is, you can't really tell me what to do in this situation if you haven't done it, at least in my mind. So with her, but she's already been coaching. So she already has respect from the guys, which is a good thing for her. So it's not like she's just this woman coming in that nobody's heard of and she hasn't already worked hard to get to where she's getting. I still just think, that it's just better when it's coming from somebody that's telling you the best way to do it. That's kind of like with the Atlanta Hawks. Look at our own team, right?
Right.
The players respond to him and they respect him because of his experiences and his history in the game.
Right.
Had he not had those experiences, had he not had the history that he has, they may have not all agreed and they all bought into his game plan and his belief. And, it takes a team buying in. So they have to believe in you in order to buy in to the way that you're coaching and your game plan.
Yes, I mean, you're right. Becky Hammon's got a lot of respect out there, especially in the National Basketball League, because let's face it, she's been an assistant to a guy that has coached 5 winning NBA title-winning teams. So we don't want to in any way disrespect that experience and the fact that he has made her his kind of second in command. And she has coached games when Coach Pop has been ejected, or one time Coach Pop had some personal health things. He was out and she coached the team. So I'm not trying to say in any way that she's not capable nor women capable. I'm just saying that, there seems to be just this whole cadre of former players, former coaches that you just are bypassing for someone else. And so that's kind of what my concern is. And like I said, you just don't have many of these positions around. So I'm just thinking, those guys should go first. That's what I'm
still waiting on Mark Jackson to get a job. Hello, hire Mark Jackson. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I see. Well, there's a perfect example right there. Here's a guy that basically helped build the Golden State Warriors to what we see today, and somehow the guy can't find a job. We also look at who's the head coach that was the head coach at Toronto before they won the title. He had brought them to, I think, 2 or 3 seasons of 50-win seasons. I don't think he has a job yet.
Yeah.
So it's just curious to me that certain coaches, like even a Mark D'Antoni, why is Mark D'Antoni's name back in the mix? Here's a guy that's won nothing, a guy that allegedly underachieved, and once again his name back in the mix. So I guess when you see stuff like that, it kind of makes you wonder, are there some other things going on behind the scenes?
Of course, we all know that. That's so obvious that there's definitely things going on.
So
a blind person can see that.
Whoa! If I wasn't looking at somebody, put my shades on that, because that was some shade on there. But it's true. I mean, listen, that's why he calls it Real Talk Sports. There's no sense us kind of skirting around these issues, man. This is serious business. I mean, it is odd to me and certainly a friend of this show, coached high school football. She played women's professional football. But even when I saw last year, you had multiple women on both teams that went to the Super Bowl, I said to myself, you mean to tell me that all the former players out there, all of these guys that, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure these women were okay. And people could say, well, brother, their teams won the Super Bowl. I get all that. But I'm thinking to myself, all these guys that have played that are striving for opportunities that could use a job. Maybe some of these guys who weren't in the era where these big money was being made. Maybe they were just kind of, backup guys. I mean, come on.
Okay. So two comments with that.
Go ahead.
First is I was excited to see the women out there in the NFL coaching, right?
Yeah.
That was super, super fantastic. It was amazing. I loved it. One thing that I will say regarding what you said is that every former NFL player knows that, especially if you were like a really great player in the NFL, you can't get a job coaching in the NFL. Let me say that again. And they all know that it's true. They will not hire you to coach in the NFL. And it makes absolutely no sense because there's great players who definitely want to coach, but they can't get a coaching job. So that's why you see where these great players will go and coach college teams because they can't get a job in the NFL. And I've asked, like, why does this happen? Well, if you notice, a lot of the coaches in the NFL are not former players. So they don't want to bring guys on their staff who they feel will get more respect and the players will look up to as having more knowledge than the head coach. So I guess they just get that out of the way. But you do see a very small portion of coaches who have played, but the ones that I noticed, they weren't like the Pro Football Hall of Fame played this many years, or so that's just what I've seen and that's what I've heard just from players themselves. And I mean, it's common sense. Like I said, you can look at the NFL teams and you'll see that there's not a lot of former players who are coaches.
Ooh. So my good buddy out of Washington, D.C., Donna Jones says, that's some shade talking right there. I have to put him back on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's some stuff there. Okay, let's go here. Right before we go to a break, we're going back to social media real quick here. My man, Mr. Todd, says the following. He says, my question, why did Ridley wait till camp about to start to have surgery? I believe this is an injury that could be a problem for the Falcons. Well, I tell you what, you want to answer that question? You got to wait, because in the green room, the man himself, Mr. Falcons coverage, D. Orlando Ledbetter, is in the building. But you're not going to be able to hear him unless you keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
All right, we're back here, the Real Talk Sports Show final segment. We're going to talk a little NFL, but we're really going to talk about our Atlanta Falcons. We already broke news earlier in the broadcast about the first active NFL player to declare his gayness publicly, and we all know that there's many others, I'm sure, that are along with him. But we got no time for that. We got to talk about our Atlanta Falcons and the breaking news that's coming from the camp. We all know him. He is the embedded beat writer for the Falcons for AJC Sports. He's also an award-winning sports writer and his Esquire Park Salon. So I'm talking about the one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D. Led, what's going on, man?
Hey, Reverend, thanks for having me again this evening on Real Talk Sports, and great seeing you again, Miss Dolman.
Hey, D-Led.
Hello.
Well, D-Led, let's get right to it, man. So is there something going on with Mr. Ridley? Is Todd, is he telling the truth? He's about to get surgery. What's happening up there?
No, minor ankle surgery 2 weeks before the mandatory mini camp. So most off-season surgeries occur, right in January, but something must not have, came out, clear cut at the end of the season in his exit physical. And so, they waited until, a little bit later to do the surgery. So I've been told minor surgery, nothing to worry about. And so if we don't see him out there at training camp at the end of July and August, then we'll have to start asking more questions.
So in other words, you'd like the police officer, nothing to see here? That would have been...
Yeah, minor surgery.
Right.
Well, we all know that no surgery is minor, but minor surgery is where we're at.
There we go. All right. Speaking of guys that catch the ball, what do you think about this news here coming out of the NFL as George Kittle and Greg Olsen are having a tight end camp, and our own Kyle Pitts is allegedly on his way there?
Yeah, so is Hayden Hurst. We wrote about that a couple weeks ago. Tight end camp over in Nashville, where, this all started. Big Chuck Smith started it with the defensive ends, with his pass rush camp, him and Von Miller. Even Vic Beasley went to the pass rush camp back in the day, a few years ago. So the tight ends are trying to do their own kind of bonding, passing along tricks of the trades, how to beat certain coverages, man zone, double teams for the guys like Kittle and so forth. So maybe Pitts can pick up a few tricks of the trade that'll help him get off to a great start in his career.
And now with the injury report to Ridley, how important is Kyle Pitts going to be right off the rip in his rookie campaign?
It's going to be important for him, but most rookies don't come in and dominate in the National Football League, so it's going to be unrealistic to expect him to do it. Go back and look at Tony Gonzalez's first 3 years in the league. It was no question he was going to be a good player, but he didn't get off to a great start. They need him to hit the ground running, but I'm not expecting a lot for a rookie tight end.
Wow. Well, Tree, what do you think about all this news now with Ridley being hurt and that potentially, being a big problem with this Falcons offense?
Yeah, I definitely think that Ridley being hurt and having a minor surgery is definitely an issue, and hopefully he can come back quick and we'll see. So if they're calling it minor, I'm assuming they're going in and doing a scope so that they're not cutting, but we'll see. That is definitely big news because we definitely need Ridley out there.
Yeah, no doubt. The other thing too, D-Led, want to get some feedback. Now, again, as you like to point out, year after year, there is there's no pads yet or anything like that. But I heard some rumblings about a week or two ago that the coach felt that that my boy Quadri Allison looked pretty good in the walkthroughs. Any more comments about Quadri and his progress this season?
Yeah, Coach. I was checking on him. He was getting a lot of the run because Mike Davis was out, and we don't know if he had a minor surgery as he was in a different phase of the offseason. So, if they're not on the field, we ask about them. And we were able to get Ridley's folks to, confirm the injury. Mike Davis, we didn't check on him. Caleb McGarry didn't check on him. Matt Gano has also reportedly had a surgery that his agents were, haven't confirmed yet. You know, Allison was running with the first team, and coach said he was doing pretty good, and that he was doing good with his pass protection. So, I mean, you know, it's going to be injuries every year. I don't go up and down with them. I just report them. And I guess that's my next man up mentality.
Well, allegedly, that was one of the reasons why Allison did not play. He fell into disfavor with the previous regime, allegedly because he couldn't block. So I guess he must have learned his lesson. You know me, D-Led. I've been a big fan of his from the opening bell. I just think he's a big tank. I think he's been underutilized, and I think that if he can get enough touches, he can be an impact player.
Yeah, I agree, Reverend. I'm going to get my cord. I just got the low button thing, and I thought I had it here, but maybe that'll help my picture here. So you can put me back in the green room and let me come back, or I'll just go run and get it.
Okay, we'll put you in the green room for a second, and we'll have you back in just a moment. All right, D-Led will be back. Get some more light, boys.
Boys and girls.
Yep. Oh, excuse me. I got to keep it straight because we do have female. Matter of fact, a good portion of our viewers. I think we're somewhere around 40 to 45% of our viewers of the Real Talk Sports in general are female. So we don't want to leave out the women because they support this show and have been for a good minute. Yes, I don't know, Tree. This is the kind of stuff that just drives me bananas. I mean, how do you get all these guys? And you hype us all up, and then half these guys, key players. McGarity is a key offensive lineman. I mean, Ridley is supposed to be your Julio replacement. And now these guys are off-season minor surgery. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think D-Led is well lit again. We're going to pop him back here to D-Led, Esquire par excellence. Bam! I can see clearly now. The shade is gone. All right, so D-Led is back. Yeah, man. So we were just saying while you were gone. I guess I'm just flabbergasted that it seems like every year now. Like I understand that injuries are part of the game, but it just seems like every year the Falcons have these surprises where guys that we expect to be key parts of the team are mysteriously have minor injuries.
Yeah, it goes with their philosophy of minimally complying with the league's injury reporting rules. In Philly or Dan Reeves, or when Dan Reeves was here, 28 of the 32 cities across the league, they come out at the end of the year press conference and give you a list. I remember Lovey standing up because it's on TV. Here are the guys who are having off-season surgery. Bam, 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 bam. We expect him back by minicamp. We expect him back by the second minicamp. We expect him back by training camp. Now, we had a coaching change this year, and so we didn't get our end-of-the-year injury report. You know, like we would have asked for it even if they didn't give it to us.
Right.
And so now with a new coach and new GM and all that was going on, and Julio, we're just kind of catching up to the injuries. And so, you know, we go out there with our binoculars, and if somebody's not there, we got to assume they're injured.
Right.
And if they're not injured, they'll say something like, oh, no, he's away for personal reasons. So Deion Jones missed a couple of days. I don't know if he had a kid or a wedding or something, but it was a personal reason. So, yeah, so if they're not there, we have to assume that it's an injury of some kind.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just hoping that because, you know, I kind of put myself out there talking about 10 wins. I mean, so
I wouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have done that, Reverend.
Man, I'm out in the weeds, but I said it about 3 or 4 times. They're 10-7. I mean, they're gonna do it. I mean,
I had him at 10-5 before. I thought Julio was. I had him at 10-5 with Julio. Once he left, I haven't even looked at the schedule again. I had him 10-5 going into the Buffalo game and the Saints game. So I guess that was 10-7.
Yep.
But that was with me thinking Julio and Pitts and Ridley and all that. I haven't even reset to think about it, you know, at this point. I don't know how that happened, but it happened.
Wow. Let's go back to our man Todd again. He has a question for D-Led. He said, D-Led, ask the coach about Ridley injury and see how mad he gets. That will tell you how serious the injury is. LOL. If he doesn't get upset, If he gets upset, we know the injury is serious. Yeah. So
we asked him 3 times and he wouldn't tell us. And then all of a sudden, by that we knew that something was up. So we called his agent, and we had to confirm within 30 minutes that rookie coach acting crazy on the injury report question. Like, Coach, if you just give us the injury report stuff, we can spend more time talking about football, which is why we're here.
All right, so I mean, is this gonna be? I mean, what do you think? I mean, so far it does appear that I'm not just saying you, but it seems that members of the press already are getting sideways with this guy. And we're not even in the first game of the season. So is this something where is this what he picked up from Mike Vrabel and the whole Belichick thing? I'm not going to talk to you. Kind of where's this all coming from?
Yeah, I think he's just finding his way as a rookie coach. That's what we're recognizing it as. It's just a rookie coach. Not knowing us, we're just meeting online right now. We finally got to meet him in person last Thursday. Met him at Georgia Tech's Pro Day. But the more he spends time with us, the more comfortable he'll get, the more reasonable he'll get, and understanding, hey, we're just asking the questions that the fans are talking about. The people that pay in your salary, buying these PSLs and buying these jerseys and so forth, they want to know what's up. So once he gets to that point and gets more comfortable, we're kind of coaching him along in the media part of it right now.
Well, Tree, what do you think about all this stuff going on with the Falcons? Anything that you would like to see them do differently, or any questions you got for D-Led?
No, I just love whenever D-Led comes on and gives us the scoop on the Falcons. It's just sad to hear about the surgeries that are taking place right now. You would think they would take place earlier, but just interesting. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen once the season starts. It's going to be a big year for the Falcons, I think. I definitely do not see them going 10-7, but I am excited to see what they're going to do on the field.
Once again, doggone it. Let me get him back on. Oh, my gosh. A little shade is strong. I got to put the shades back on. Yeah, I got to do that. Yeah. Well, listen, at the end of the day, we all here in Atlanta want to see the Falcons do well. It is going to be interesting on how the season goes, because there's going to be, even though we know that a rookie doesn't necessarily make an impact, we've only had a handful of guys do it from the receiver position, like, Hall of Famer, just drawing a blank here, Moss, for the Vikings. He came out of shoot. I think he set a record of like 17, 18 touchdowns his first year, but that's the rarest of rare that you're going to get a Randy Moss type performance. Now, allegedly, this guy, all the measurables, he's some type of unguardable beast. So, who knows? But I think the Falcons are going to need that kind of performance from him, or darn close to it, because with Ridley not going to be 100% probably to start the season, and with Russell Gage, as good as he was last year, we don't really know how he would perform with the pressure of being a number 2 or number 1A. So a lot of question marks for this Falcons team, and we don't know. I mean, Matt's another year older, and so a lot of big question marks here. D-Led, it just, like I said, took all the air out of my sails, man. I mean, that 10-7 looked like that's going to be a hard thing to get to now. Doggone it.
Well, the schedule is favorable, so I think they can get off, to a good start. Like Coach Mike Smith and them did in 2008, they got off a good start and rode that thing. A lot of change here, a lot of change that year, but they had a defense. They brought back, Lawyer Malloy.
Right.
The defense was respectable. This defense, you don't know what it's going to be. The secondary's new. Got Grady up front, you got Deion, you got Fourier, and nothing off the edge. So if D and Pease can work some magic with that, hey, more power to them. But, we're going to have to see how that goes. The one way to look at it, Reverend, is you match up the quarterback against the other team's quarterback. And, we're not playing Brady every week. So that's another thing. So maybe you can get to some of these young quarterbacks in the league and get some respectable play out of the defense. So, he's got them looking good. They look sharp and on point. And, they know what they're doing or trying to do. So they look real crisp. in shorts. We got to see them in pads now. But they look very organized, like they got a plan and a mission when they come out to practice. Not so much loud music all the time, and not so much rah-rah brotherhood stuff. They're actually getting down to the nuts and bolts of scrimmaging and competing and playing ball. So maybe the coaching staff, a lot of older coaches on this staff, maybe they can get these guys ready for the season.
Well, I mean, it sounds good. I mean, one of the things that the defense was a problem was that these guys oftentimes, especially not so much last year, but the year before, a lot of times these guys, man, it looked like a Chinese fire drill. I mean, these guys were just all over the place. I mean, it seemed like nobody had any clue on what was going on, and we constantly had guys getting beat deep on cover 2, which was just insanity. So if Dean Pease, I mean, his track record in Baltimore is pretty strong.
Yeah, no question about it. But I don't see Ray Lewis over there. I don't see
Ed Reed.
I don't see Ed Reed over there yet. Maybe they're coming, and we're just in on the early part of it. But that's he had some Hall of Famers over there he was working with.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah, and we got another one probably coming. No longer with the team anymore, off the pass rush edge, Suggs. I mean, look for him to probably enter the Hall of Fame too. So no doubt. Listen, speaking of Hall of Fame and speaking of you kind of watching players, what have you seen as far as some of the defensive players? Like, how does Dante Fowler look? Does he look healthy now? What have you seen so far? Again, I know it's just in shorts.
Yeah, Dante was looking very good. He's been training at home, but he did come in for the mandatory minicamp. And I saw him working with Artie Atakumbo, the rookie, showing him the hand placements and so forth. Him and Steven Means were doing that, taking the leadership role over there. So, you can get – I wasn't that hard on him last year because I know he was playing with a high ankle sprain. And, that led to a lot of injuries for him. So, when he looked good, the one game he was out there, Seattle, until he got hurt in Dallas. So, hopefully he can stay healthy and give the Falcons something at that outside linebacker spot. But he looks good, in that regard.
Well, Trey, I know you're excited about having a potential pass rusher that can do the job for the Falcons.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We need a good pass rusher. And so, that brings the excitement and it puts the fear in other teams. So we can get that. I think that'll be huge for the Falcons.
Yeah, I think this team has got, like you said, again, it's got potential. A lot of it's going to ride on Matt. Right now in the Phil Simms rating, they have Matt rated 15th, which is kind of middle of the pack for quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's probably maybe a couple of notches above that. And I'm going to go back and say the same thing that I told Matt to his face. And I know D-Led is not into quarterbacks running around, but I just found in the games when Matt runs 4 or 5 times, the Falcons usually find their way to win. And when I say that, I mean running with a purpose, either like a quarterback sneak, which he doesn't do too well, but those little, when he's flushed out of pocket, just dive forward for 3 or 4 yards. He seems to be able to do that pretty good.
Yeah, I don't want to see my 36-year-old quarterback running. Sorry about that, Reverend. I want to see them blocking and let the running backs run. Let Matt move around. I want to see him moving around, throwing from different launch points, whether it's out of the back end on the rollouts and bootlegs. But I don't really want to see him running. That's nothing good going to happen from that. But different launch points. I don't want him to sit and duck either in the pocket behind this line. I do want him on the move. So we could see some of them rollouts that he was doing with Shanahan and the bootlegs. But you got to establish that outside stretch run first to both sides. And, I think Mike Davis can do that. And Cotterell can do that. And, Matt won't just be sitting there getting sacked, more than 40 times again.
D-Led, you said you don't want to see him running around a little bit. I mean, like I said, for me, and what I mean by running, I'm like, out of those bootlegs, I mean, hey, if you got, like we saw a couple of times in the previous years, hey, you got a wide open lane, nobody about to touch you, and you need 4 yards for a first down, just go ahead and run that slide. I'm not looking for the guy to get out here and try to be no Lamar Jackson. I'm with you, bro. All right, let's go ahead and go to social media one more time here. Our affiliate man, I believe, has a question here. And let's hit it here. He says, okay, we all want to see the Falcons do well. The defense has to step up. The defensive coach, the old man, wait,
Dean Pease.
Dean Pease. He said that they hired. He hoped he have the energy energy level on this guy. I mean, he's true. He's 80. Come on, man. He'll look like that. He looks like he's 80, but he seems like he got a lot of energy. So Todd just throwing some shade. That's all.
Yeah, I think Coach Dean's 71, and I go back to his days at Miami of Ohio, which was a long time ago. So been following him. I believe he's on Randy Walker's staff at coach of the Cradle of Coaches, Miami of Ohio. But yeah, from what I can tell, he's got his guys implementing his system. You know, some of Ted Monachino has been around a lot of the great pass rushers of our time. Coach Frank Bush from Athens Academy, he got all excited about, hey, how cool would it be to win a Super Bowl for in Atlanta after growing up in Athens? So Frank Bush is excited. Charlie London, the quarterback's coach from Dunwoody. They got some young coaches that bring the energy, and got the older coach to draw up the schemes and so forth. So it could work. It's a plan. It looks like a plan that could work.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think again this team's got potential to do fairly well. I think you hit it on the head. They got to have a good start. You can't flounder out here and be 1-3 or something like that. They have to no worse than 500 after the what they call it the first quarter. Is that what the coach used to call it all the time? They break it up into 4-game blocks. That first quarter, they have to be at least 500. They can't be 1-3. That's not going to work.
No, that's not going to work. And like I said, I haven't gone back to the schedule since the Julio trade, so I don't have it. I know the first exhibition game is Tennessee on the 13th, and we'll take it from there as we're trying to get some downtime in here now in June and July before we get started again. So, a good start would be very important for this team and the new administration, because then the players start believing in the coaching. And then they can coach them a little harder when they're winning. If you're down, you can't really kick them when they're down. But if they're winning, they can fix their mistakes and keep on rolling.
No doubt. Well, let's take a look here at the schedule here. It looks like, from what I'm seeing here, the Falcons actually open up at home against the Eagles. Then they immediately go face the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They then go on the road, continue that road trip out to the New York Giants the following week. So they got kind of a up and down schedule. They're playing, also staying on the East. Washington would be their next game, October the 3rd. They would host them here at home, and then followed by the New York Jets. So there's no question that of those first 6 games, at least 3 or 4 of them should be winnable.
Yeah, I just wrote down the quarterbacks. You got Hurts, then Brady, Daniel Jones, Washington football. You got Ryan Fitzpatrick, or the kid who was there in the playoffs, Tyler. And then the Jets, you got Wilson. So you can go 4-1 with that.
Well, they
got a great defense. Only game you're going to be overmatched in is probably Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that could be a long afternoon there. Let's go ahead one more time to social media before we wrap it up, as I can't believe the time is flying. Todd from Philip Man, he says the offensive line needs Dr. Phil. Man, they're mentally fragile since Mac has left.
Yeah, that's a good point, because in some of my talks, they were talking about the psychology of the line and how if you're dropping back to pass 45 times a game, they're gonna get depressed at some point because they can't keep them out. So they gotta stop. Straight drop backs 45 times. That's a war. That's half of the plays, and the lineman's going to get beat at some point. You're going to lose 1 or 2 of those battles. So the psychology starts to get inside their head that they're not good blockers, because, the odds are just in their favor. The coordinators push that button too many times. So Coach Smith is probably going to try to run a lot more, keep them dropbacks down to 25, 30, and then, boom, you got offensive line all of a sudden because their psychology is better. So, I mean, that's something new to me. I've heard it before, but it applies to this team. If you let them go after people, which linemen love to do, and of course Miss Dolman watched them go after her husband for years, very unsuccessfully, I might add. But that's what they want to do. They want to go. They want to go hit. They don't want to be sitting and doing this stuff all the time. So, and having a proper technique. So if they can do that as a unit and be successful, that's going to have a great impact on the offense, and it's going to keep that defense off the field a little bit. You can run the football and get after people.
Well, think about this. The Falcons in their Super Bowl year, they had something almost unprecedented. They had no injuries almost the entire year to the offensive line. And Freeman had over 1,000 yards, and the Falcons, even in the Super Bowl for a minute, were gashing people because those stretch runs and the cutbacks by Freeman, a healthy Freeman, I might add, just were eating teams up. And then it left the passing lane open. Matt, we don't have to recount it, but Matt, having games where he's throwing completions to 8, 9 different guys. Everybody got a touch. The fullback, second string catch, third string catch to come off the bench because you just didn't know who to stop. So if they can get any sampling of that and then be able to run the ball, if they could get anybody on that team to get at least 900 yards on the ground, the Falcons might be something to contend with. And no doubt.
Got that extra playoff spot, too.
I'm just saying. All right. I can't believe it's that time, but you know how it is, Gold. Anytime we have a guest on our show, we always want to make sure that you know how to find out more about them. And here's how we do it. We simply let the guest have the floor. So, Orlando, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend. You can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC or go bookmark our Falcons page at AJC.com.
There it is, guys. You'll see right underneath AJC.com. You also can follow him elsewhere on social media. There it is at DOrlandoAJC and Instagram at DOrlandoLed. D-Led, thank you, sir. Until the next time, God bless.
Thank you.
All right. The Queen, let us now move this away. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa and Ms. America International 2020.
And for those of you who are not blind, you will see it right there on the screen in the purple. It's Latresa, and it's at Ms. America International 2020. And we'll go to social media one more time. And let's see here, Mr. Todd. Let's see what he has to say here to us all. He says, are we going to see a running game? Well, D-Let is gone, but yeah, I do think that we are going to see more of a running game as we get set for this Falcon season. All right, guys, you guys may or may not know, I actually am a real live minister. So before I get off the air, I'm going to please ask you all, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, I want to say to you, please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus, not your mom, not your auntie, not grandmom and them, not your baby, not your boo, not your BFF. Why? Because he made you and he came here and died for you. What does that mean? Simply that all the sins of all mankind were handled once and for all when Jesus died on that cross and he rose from the dead. So if you repent of your sins and confess that, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adoptive child of God and have all the rights therein. That means that you can go directly to God in prayer and he will grant your desires and your needs according to his will if you ask in the name of his son, Jesus Christ. And when you leave here, you die, you get to go to the most beautiful place ever created, a place called heaven, where there's no pain, no pandemic, no protest, no bad people of any type. And it's always sunny because the power of God lights up the whole place. And you avoid that nasty, snarly place called hell, where all the things are not in heaven are there. Bad people, pain, stinks all the time, it's dark, and you're totally separated from God himself. Now, I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until next time we have you on again, you know how we do it. We say God bless you and good night.
Bye.